wondered if your feline friend could be a politician, an astronaut, or even a deity revered by entire civilizations? It sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, but history has a way of surprising us. Today, we'll introduce you to 5 incredible felines who forever changed our world, leaving their very real paw prints on history. Get ready, because some of these stories might just make you look at your own furry companion in a whole new light. Our relationship with cats spans thousands of years. They evolved from wild hunters to guardians of our barns, and eventually to cherished family members. In ancient Egypt, they were revered as sacred animals. Yet in medieval Europe, they were, sadly, feared as companions of witches. But among millions of nameless felines, some stood out, their names etched into history. These weren't just cute pets. They were true individuals whose destinies became closely intertwined with pivotal historical moments. So let's embark on a journey back in time to the land of sand and pharaohs. Our first stop today isn't about a single cat, but an entire cult that captivated a great civilization. Let's talk about the sacred cats of ancient Egypt. Cats were far more than mere pets to the ancient Egyptians. Instead, they were seen as the living embodiment of the goddess Bastet, one of the most revered figures in their pantheon. Bastet was depicted as a woman with the head of a cat, and she was responsible for joy, merriment, fertility, and the home. Essentially, she was the protector of the home and family. Consequently, her earthly avatars, the cats themselves, were held in immense awe. Imagine this: to harm a cat, even accidentally, was considered a grave offence. The Greek historian Diodorus Siculus wrote that he witnessed a furious mob tear apart a Roman who had accidentally killed a cat. The law was strict, and such an act was punishable by death. But respect for cats didn't end with their death. On the contrary, when a family cat passed away, all household members would shave off their eyebrows as a sign of mourning, and the animal itself was honoured in ways that many humans could only envy. Cats were embalmed, mummified, wrapped in expensive cloths, and buried in special sarcophagi. Archaeologists have discovered entire feline necropolises, where hundreds of thousands of mummified cats are interred. This was nothing short of national devotion. So why were these creatures so special? Egyptians valued cats not only for their divine connection, but also for their very tangible, earthly contributions. They were ideal hunters, protecting precious grain stores from rodents, a vital task, as grain was the very foundation of Egypt's economy. In their grace, independence, and fierce demeanour towards enemies, the Egyptians saw a reflection of the finest qualities, worthy of the gods themselves. Leaving the sun-drenched lands of Egypt behind, we now journey to the turbulent, icy waters of the Atlantic during World War II. Here we find the remarkable tale of a cat who would become a true maritime legend, Unsinkable Sam. This black and white cat was originally named Oscar, and his first post was aboard the mighty German battleship, the Bismarck. In May 1941, after a fierce battle, the Bismarck was sunk by the British Royal Navy. Of its more than 2,000 crew members, only just over 100 survived. And remarkably, clinging to a piece of debris, was Oscar the cat. He was spotted and rescued by sailors from the British destroyer HMS Cossack. They didn't concern themselves with his nationality and gladly welcomed him aboard. Oscar officially became part of the British fleet, but his time on the Cossack was also short-lived. Just a few months later, the destroyer was torpedoed by a German U-boat and sank. And once again, among the few survivors was our furry hero. After his second miraculous rescue, Oscar was transferred to the aircraft carrier, HMS Ark Royal. The crew quickly adopted him as their mascot, but alas, a dark fate seemed to follow the ships he served on. Soon after, the Ark Royal was also sunk by a torpedo attack. Rescuers found the cat, floating on a piece of wreckage, described in reports as angry but quite unharmed. It was then decided that the cat had surely used up all his 9 lives at sea. He was honourably retired ashore, where he received his famous nickname, Unsinkable Sam. He lived out his days peacefully at a home for sailors in Belfast, becoming a symbol of incredible luck and an indomitable will to live. Enough of naval battles, let's cast our eyes to the stars. Our next story features a true trailblazer of the cosmos. Meet Félicette. At the height of the space race between the USSR and the USA, other nations also sought to contribute to exploring the unknown. France was no exception. In 1963, French scientists were preparing a mission to study the effects of weightlessness on a living brain, and for this crucial role, they chose a cat. From a pool of 14 candidates undergoing rigorous selection, the most suitable turned out to be an ordinary black and white street cat found on the streets of Paris. They named her Félicette. On October 18, 1963, a launch vehicle propelled her capsule to an altitude of over 150 kilometers. The entire flight lasted approximately 15 minutes, during which electrodes implanted in her brain transmitted invaluable data back to Earth. Félicette safely returned from her suborbital flight, making her the first and only cat to journey into space. She became a national heroine. However, her story also has a tragic side. Sadly, 2 months after her flight, scientists euthanized her to continue studying her brain. Over time, her incredible achievement began to fade from memory, and she was even sometimes mistakenly referred to as a male cat named Felix. It wasn't until decades later that her legacy was truly recognized. Thanks to an online campaign, a monument to the brave feline astronaut was finally unveiled in Strasbourg in 2019. From the boundless reaches of space, let's make a somewhat unexpected landing back on Earth, right into the heart of politics. Surprised? Well, our next story proves that even in the cutthroat world of leadership, there's always room for a feline. Meet Stubbs, the cat. Our story begins in 1997, in the tiny Alaskan town of Talkeetna. The local residents, to put it mildly, weren't exactly thrilled with the human candidates running for mayor. So, they decided to make a rather unusual protest. They successfully campaigned for the election of a kitten. This ginger, tailless little one, discovered abandoned in a box in a store parking lot, was named Stubbs, a name aptly given due to his short, stumpy tail. And the joke went so far that Stubbs genuinely became the town's honorary mayor, a position he held for almost 2 decades. His office was the town's general store, where he graciously received his constituents every day. Legend has it, his favourite beverage was catnip-infused water, always served in a proper wine glass. But Stubbs' story was far more than just a quirky anecdote. He quickly became Talkeetna's undisputed main attraction. Tourists from around the globe flocked to this remote Alaskan town, all eager to meet its famous feline mayor. He brought his small town immense fame, and perhaps most importantly, a significant boost in tourism revenue. Stubbs proved that you don't need to deliver grand speeches or hold press conferences to be a great leader. Sometimes all it takes is being incredibly charming and letting people give you a good scratch behind the ears. Shifting gears from the world of politics, let's dive into the fascinating realm of business, where a single, unassuming cat pulled off an economic miracle. Our final, but certainly not least important heroine, is a feline who single-handedly saved an entire industry. Her name was Tama. This incredible story unfolded in Japan. The small Kishigawa railway line was teetering on the brink of complete bankruptcy. Passenger numbers had plummeted to critical levels, and the very last station on the line, Kishi Station, was slated for closure and de-staffing. It truly seemed like the end of the line. That's when the company's management took a desperate, some might even say audacious, step. In a bid to attract attention and draw in passengers, they officially appointed a local calico cat named Tama, who lived nearby and was known for greeting arriving trains as the station master. Her salary was a lifetime supply of cat food, and her most important piece of uniform, a tiny custom-made station master's cap. What happened next surpassed everyone's wildest expectations. News of the feline station master went viral, spreading like wildfire across the entire country. People from all corners of Japan, and even international tourists, flocked to Kishi Station just to catch a glimpse of Tama in her adorable cap, the struggling, loss-making line was suddenly transformed into an incredibly profitable venture. It's estimated that, over her years of service, Tama generated well over £1 billion for the local economy. She became nothing short of a national hero, a heartwarming symbol of how unconventional thinking and a generous dose of feline charm can truly work wonders. Now let's pause for a moment. A guard, a soldier, an astronaut, a mayor, and a top executive, and all of them cats. The most striking thing about these stories is how our seemingly simple house pets became something far greater. They transformed into symbols. Unsinkable Sam became a beacon of hope and resilience for sailors during the dark times of war. Stubbs proved that politics, even humorously, could be honest and endearing. And Tama showed that even the smallest creature can spark an economic miracle. Here's the fascinating twist. We might think we've domesticated them, but time and again, cats prove they're not just a backdrop to our lives. They are active participants, capable of influencing our culture, our economy, and even the course of history itself. From the nameless deities of ancient Egypt to the celebrated heroes whose names we remember today, cats have always been by our side, watching us with their enigmatic eyes. From the temples of ancient Egypt to the cabins of spaceships, cats have left their indelible paw prints on human history. I hope you enjoyed this journey through their incredible stories and extraordinary destinies. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more captivating stories. Which of these feline tales impressed you the most? Or perhaps you know of other legendary cats whose stories deserve to be told? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to read them.